"What do you do?" the American nurse asked the Englishman, Derek Parfit. It was the autumn of 2014, and the philosopher was hospitalized in New Jersey. He was in a terrible state, having nearly died when his lungs packed up after a bout of violent coughing. He looked exhausted and showing every one of his 71 years. He could barely speak. A succession of concerned visitors had been in to visit the white-haired patient, and the nurse was intrigued. "I work," he replied in a raspy voice, "on what matters." On What Matters was the second and last of Parfit's books. The first was Reasons and Persons, so only 2 books. But these 2 books are sufficient to have earned Parfit a reputation among political and moral philosophers as one of the greatest moral thinkers of the past century. It is not a unanimous judgment. He had trenchant critics, but it is widespread. Indeed, some go further, believing him to be the most important moral philosopher since his fellow British philosophers John Stuart Mill, 1806–73, and Henry Sidgwick, 1838–1900. That even one book appeared under his name came as a surprise to many who knew him. The word perfect is thought to derive from the Middle English Parfit, and Parfit, the ultimate perfectionist, was aptly named. His perfectionism would routinely cause him trouble, as when he repeatedly failed to meet publishing deadlines because the manuscript was not to his own satisfaction. In the end, On What Matters was published in 2 volumes, weighing in at 1,440 pages, or 1,900 pages if you add the posthumously published Volume 3. Reasons and Persons is a mere featherweight at 537 pages. Both Parfit's books have been described as enduring masterpieces. He also produced around 50 articles. He made seminal contributions on many topics, including equality and personal identity. What, if anything, makes a person the same person through time? His ideas have very practical applications that affect us all. They change the way we think about punishment, about distribution of resources, about how we should plan for the future. This book is in part a portrait of university life and academic philosophy in the second half of the 20th century and the beginning of the 21st, as well as a depiction of the unique institution All Souls, in which Parfit spent almost all his adult years. But it is essentially a book about one man.